Welcome to Spiritual Calisthenics. Christ is in our midst. On March 17th, we commemorate St. Alexis, the man of God, St. Paul, the righteous martyr, and St. Patrick, the Enlightener of Ireland. The Holy Fathers, having appointed the commemoration of Adam's exile from the paradise of delight here on the eve of the holy 40-day fast, demonstrating to us not by simple words, but by actual deeds, how beneficial fasting is for man, and how harmful and destructive are iniquity and the transgressing of the divine commandments. The first commandment that God gave to man was that fasting, which the first fashion received but did not keep. And not only did they not become gods, as they had imagined, but they lost even that blessed life which they had, and they fell into corruption and death, and transmitted these and innumerable other evils to all of mankind. God-bearing Father set these things before us today, that by bringing to mind what we have fallen from, and what we have suffered because of the insatiety and disobedience of the first fashioned, we might be diligent to return again to that ancient bliss and glory by means of fasting and obedience to all the divine commandments, taking occasion from today's gospel to begin the fast unencumbered by enmity. We also ask forgiveness this day, first from God, and then from one another and all creation. O Master, prudence, guide of wisdom, instruction to the foolish and defender of the poor, strengthen my heart and grant it discernment. Give me words, word of the Father. For behold, I shall not keep my lips from crying out to you, O merciful one, have mercy on me who have fallen. Regarding St. Alexis, St. Alexis was born in old Rome of illustrious parents named Euphemianus and Aglaïs, and at their request was joined to a young woman in marriage. However, he did not remain with her for even one day, but fled to Edessa, where he lived for 18 years. He returned to Rome in the guise of a beggar, and sat at the gates of his father's house, unknown to all, and mocked by his own servants. His identity was revealed only after his death by a paper that he had on his person, which he himself had written a little before his repose. The pious Emperor Honorius honored him with a solemn burial. The title Man of God was given to him from heaven in a vision to the Bishop of Rome on the day of the saint's repose. Though thou didst bud forth from a renowned and notable root, and though thou didst blossom from a city famed for her great imperial dignity, yet didst thou scorn all things as corruptible and fleeting, striving to be joined to Christ thy Master forever. Entreat him, O Alexis, most wise, fervently for our souls. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Obviously, since we're in the midst of the Great Fast, we will not be celebrating with beer or corned beef. However, we will be talking about this great, great saint. St. Patrick, the Apostle of the Irish, was seized from his native Britain by Irish marauders when he was 16 years old. Though the son of a deacon and a grandson of a priest, it was not until his captivity that he sought out the Lord with his whole heart. In his confession, the testament he wrote towards the end of his life, he says, "After I came to Ireland, every day I had to tend sheep, and many times a day I prayed. The love of God and his fear came to me more and more, and my faith was strengthened, and my spirit was so moved that in a single day I would say as many as 100 prayers, and almost as many at night. And this, even when I was staying in the woods and on the mountain, and I would rise for prayer before daylight, through snow, through frost, through rain, and I felt no harm." After 6 years of slavery in Ireland, he was guided by God to make his escape, and afterwards struggled in the monastic life at Auxerre in Gaul, under the guidance of the holy bishop Germanus. Many years later, he was ordained bishop and sent to Ireland once again, about the year 432, to convert the Irish to Christ. His arduous labors bore so much fruit that within 7 years 3 bishops were sent from Gaul to help him shepherd his flock. "My brethren and sons whom I have baptized in the Lord, so many thousands of people," he says in his confession. His apostolic work was not accomplished without much weariness and painfulness, long journeys through difficult country, and many perils. He says his life was endangered 12 times. When he came to Ireland as its enlightener, it was a pagan country. We ended his earthly life some 30 years later, about 461. The faith of Christ was established in every corner. There are many stories that say that the idea of St. Patrick removing the snakes from Ireland is an allegory, meaning that when he came to Ireland, it was full of the snakes and the venom of the evil one, and pagan idolatry, and by his death he had cast out all of these evil things. Of note for us, which is very important for our spirituality, it is said that St. Patrick, in these prayers that he was talking about when he was a young man, that he achieved perfect noetic prayer, that he was able to connect with the uncreated energies of God and love, and was pierced in every ounce of his being. But it says that he, in his confession, was not able to experience that prayer again. So in other words, he spent his whole life through prayer trying to recreate that moment, that connection that he had with God. And so it is true, according to tradition, that he did again experience this great connection. But it is to show us that our lives are supposed to be continually moving towards God. And St. Patrick of Ireland does that for us. It is also of note that oftentimes we see St. Patrick dressed in green, which is, of course, the colors of Ireland, and also because of the clover that is always around there, the three-leaf clover. And St. Patrick would use that clover, the 1, 2, 3, to symbolize the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, as a way of teaching the native people about Christ. From the prophecy of Isaiah.
But the Lord of hosts, him you shall regard as holy. Let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he will become a sanctuary, and a stone of offense, and a rock of stumbling to both houses of Israel, a trap and a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many shall stumble thereon. They shall fall and be broken. They shall be snared and taken. Bind up the testimony, seal the teaching among my disciples. I will wait for the Lord, who is hiding his face from the house of Jacob, and I will hope in him. Behold, I and the children whom the Lord has given me are signs and portents in Israel from the Lord of hosts, who dwells on Mount Zion. And when they say to you, consult the mediums and the wizards who chirp and mutter, should not a people consult their God? Should they consult the dead on behalf of the living? To the teaching and to the testimony. Surely for this word which they speak there is no dawn. They will pass through the land, greatly distressed and hungry. And when they are hungry, they will be enraged and will curse their king and their God, and turn their faces upward, and they will look to the earth. But behold, distress and darkness, the gloom of anguish, and they will be thrust into thick darkness.
And this is significant in similar fashion to what we saw previously with the prophecy of the Virgin. Behold, the Virgin shall conceive a son. Here we have the prophecy here. This is talking about the people that are in darkness, the people that are trying to go to soothsayers and wizards to find answers, but they're not finding them. They're all despairing. And it says, but there will be no gloom for her that was in anguish. In the former time he brought into contempt the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, but in the latter time he will make glorious the way of the sea, and land beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the nations. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in the land of deep darkness, on them has light shined. This, of course, is the anthem that is referring to Theophany in January, that Christ our God is that light that shines on those that are darkness, those that have sat down in despair because they don't know what to do. Christ our God is that light that brings them back. From the book of Genesis. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God, and Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way upon the earth. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence, and through them, behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood, make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and out with pitch. This is how you are to make it. The length of the ark 300 cubits, its breadth 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make a roof for the ark, and finish it to a cubit above, and set the door of the ark in its side. Make it with a lower, second, and third decks. For behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life from under heaven. Everything that is on the earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you and your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female, of the birds according to their kinds, and of the animals according to their kinds, of every creeping thing on the ground according to its kind. 2 of every sort shall come into you, to keep them alive. Also take with you every sort of food that is eaten and store it up, and it shall serve as a food for you and for them. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. So Noah represents the last of the righteous men before the earth is laid destroyed. Now, as for if this is all there is to it, who's to say? Perhaps there were more servants on the ark. Perhaps there were other areas that were not quite as destroyed, because obviously if we had only these people as that's it for humanity, we would have, again, inbreeding and problems. So it's possible that they are representative in similar ways that Adam and Eve are representative of all of humanity. We saw this when Cain said that people will kill me if they see me, showing us that there were other people on the earth. Similar with the animals. Perhaps it is meant to say that there have to be at least male and female of the animal. But again, this is to show us that God in his wrath is going to destroy them. And we are going to see at the end of this the covenant of God, because God gives his covenant to the people to show them that he is keeping his promises. And of course, the covenant with Noah will be a rainbow. From the book of Proverbs. Does not wisdom call? Does not understanding raise her voice? On the heights beside the way, in the paths she takes her stand. Beside the gates in the front of the town, at the entrance of the portals she cries aloud, To you, O men, I call, and my cries to the sons of men. O simple ones, learn prudence. O foolish men, pay attention. Hear, for I will speak noble things, and from my lips will come what is right, for my mouth will utter truth. Wickedness, it is abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are righteous. There is nothing twisted or crooked in them. They are all straight to him who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. Take my instruction instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. I, wisdom, dwell in prudence, and I find knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is hatred of evil. Pride and arrogance and the way of evil and perverted speech I hate. I have counsel and sound wisdom. I have insight. I have strength. By me kings reign, and rulers decree what is just. By me princes rule, and nobles govern the earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than gold, even fine gold, and my yield than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, in the paths of justice, endowing with wealth those who love me, and filling their treasuries. As I said at the beginning of Great Lent, Proverbs is a repository of wisdom and teachings. This allegory of what wisdom is and what it can mean for you, holy wisdom, is something that we should seek with every ounce of our being. It is the treasure past telling.
I hope that you've enjoyed today's spiritual calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day.